it's my baby birthday. Hey y'all, it's Jess and JessTalks, and this is episode 52. Episode 52 for live on KERB radio broadcasting. And so today we're going to be talking about persevering with daughters, having a daughter. And so today I have my special guest, Jess Marie.
Hey, yeah.
So let's go. I am excited, and the people need to know what's going on, Jess.
So excited you just
So
came
just
out.
tell the people something about you, because I know we have people that probably didn't see you on the last episode.
What you want to listen? This lady asked me the other day, tell me about yourself. I got about almost 40 years of about myself.
That's what.
What about me do you want to know?
All of it. We want to know it all.
Well, since we're talking about persevering through parenting daughters, I am a mother. I'm a mother of three, 2 boys and a girl.
That's good.
My son is 14 and my oldest two are 21 and 20. But my daughter is my middle child.
Aw,
So,
come on, middle child.
the one just like you.
Okay, KRB. So we thank you once again for the opportunity to be sharing our stories on the broadcast. So it's Jess and Jess Talks, and this is episode 52. Yay! And so I'm so excited to have my special guest with me today, Marie. And so I am very excited to have her on here today, y'all, mainly because I decided, well, I realized that she's one of my accountability partners.
Yeah.
And so we literally went to this event, and our thing was to discuss what we want to do next, how we want to promote our business, and what direction we're going to go with our business, and mainly in the speaking arena. And what I realized was every time we doing anything, we speaking.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, you know what better person to be with than somebody that's always speaking too. So when I was invited, y'all, I'm like, I'm gonna go. I canceled my whole plans to go to this concert. I ain't gonna lie, I really do like this artist, but I'm more like in tune with getting to the next level. Now I am listening to somebody that's already done, reached all his goals. I mean, I'm supporting black man out here doing his thing, but at the end of the day, y'all know I'll be running my mouth. I am very excited that I had the opportunity, and I just thank you for that, Jess. You know I gotta do that. I'm sorry. She probably like, this girl, we ain't supposed to be talking about that. Whatever. So, but today's episode 52 is about persevering parenting a daughter. And we both have young girls, young teenagers, baby adults is what I call them. They think they have all the answers. They think they know everything and don't know anything. So,
Okay.
well, I ain't gonna say they don't know anything, but they know less than what they think they do. They think they know more than what they really know, rather. And I just feel like ever since I've had my child, it has been a challenge to ensure that I parent her better than I feel like I was parent. So nothing against my mom. I love my mom. My mom did the best that she knew to do. All they can do is do what they can and do what they know. And they, as you know, when you know better, you should do better.
Right.
So I feel like I want to do better for my babies, not just for my daughter, but for my son as well. Because nobody has all the answers. We can do all we can and read every single book, but every child is different. Every experience is going to be different. And I'm just happy that I understand that life is going to move how I want it to at times. At other times, it's just going to be me going with the flow. So having a child, having a daughter is no different. I pray to God all the time that I'm doing the things right to help her, to lead her on her path. But who am I? I'm just one person. I'm just doing the best I can. So in your opinion, Jess, having a daughter, and you say she's your middle daughter though, and this little girl is my oldest, and that's your middle. And so, how do you think that how do y'all move through that in your relationship? And I say that because my brother's a middle child, so some people they say middle childs have this little thing because they right in the middle. They not the youngest, they not the oldest, but it's like what they be trying to figure out where they fit in. Do you feel like at times she has went through that before, or not really, or just her being the only girl? Period.
My daughter never like really fought for attention or a place to fit in. The thing about her, since she was really young, she would be to herself and be perfectly fine with
Gotcha.
that. So she's not the typical middle child. She definitely is not. But we didn't have like a strong connection, I can say, because she's sandwiched in between the two boys. And
Right.
as we know, as a mother that is present in a boy's life, that boy does gravitate to the
For
mother more.
sure.
And if you're in a two parent household, a lot of times the daughter
Gravitates
gravitates
to
to
the
the
dad,
father.
yeah.
And so they had that for 16 years. So me and
Aw.
their dad divorced when my oldest was 16. But she still was always really to herself. She never really fought anybody for attention because it was like she wasn't needy of that.
Got you. Okay. And that's a good thing though,
Yeah, for sure.
because like I said, my brother was mature. I feel like with my mom's parenting style, we kind of all had our own little space, you
Mhm.
know. Of course, with me being the oldest, I feel like I was their other mama because
Mhm.
she had to work, she had to do these things, so I had to do a lot of the things that usually the mama would do, of course, because
Mhm.
you the oldest, you got to step in and step up and
Yeah.
take care of business, because I'm not gonna sit there and let them be hungry or not put stuff in place that I know my mom wants to happen in, in her absence. And so I guess I didn't really feel like any kind of way. I just was ready, to move on, to graduate, to go to school, like all those things.
Mhm.
And so when I had my daughter, I'm kind of like, what's the odds of me having my first kid be a little girl,
Mhm.
Then I had my son, I'm like, what are the odds of my second child being a boy, So it's just like, is history repeating itself around this book? And it's like you have these thoughts and you have these views, and at the end of the day, it's just how things go, and that's what I'm realizing. And having my daughter and understanding that I want her to be the best her,
Mhm.
I feel like at times it pushed her away from me in a way,
Mhm.
because I remember her saying this years ago. I feel like you're just trying to make me like you, and I'm like, why
Mhm.
would you say that? Like, why would I want you to be like me? And I'm like, sure, I'm most definitely. I wasn't perfect, and I'm not perfect, so I wouldn't have an expectation of you to do things the way I did them.
Mhm.
Now, I would like to love on you and help you in the direction that you want to go in, but I'm supposed to tell you what's right and what's wrong. That's my job.
Mhm.
That's why, God gave you to me, for me to show you the right things, help you understand the wrong things, and give you some life experience tips so you won't have to go through things unnecessarily that I did have to go through.
Mhm.
Have you ever experienced that with your baby? That she feels like you're trying to make her do a certain thing, even though that's not what you're trying to do. But at times she may feel that way.
I don't think she has, because I wasn't raised by my parents. So that made me very intentional on how I raised my children, to not let them just be free or anything,
Right.
but to get the feedback from them as they were growing. Because when they were younger, I was working, working, working.
Yeah.
So they were with their dad a lot. But I think because the door has really always been open for conversation, I don't think that they felt that way. And I do a lot of explaining. So they know I was the first in my family to graduate high school, but I was pregnant as a graduate.
Right.
And so early on, setting standards for them, I set the same standard for my oldest son and for my daughter. So neither was treated different.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't really say, you're trying to make me be, or
Yeah.
you're trying to fulfill your life through me
The
or
me,
whatever,
yeah.
right? But sometimes even when kids feel that way, they don't, it's just a rebellion that's in us as teens. We think we know everything. We think, oh, they're just trying to tell me what to do. But I guess the explanation would be like, if you know that stove is hot, why would you go put your hand up there? If you know cars are just shooting in the street, why would you go run out? So that's plain and simple terms, right? But
Yes.
that's kind of like the explanation that I would give them. Like,
Yeah.
this is the reason why. This is the reason why I'm telling you don't have sex as a teen. This is the reason why. So I always gave them the reason, And so I think that was so preventative from them seeing like, oh, she's doing it in a way to help us and not, uh, what's the word I want to use?
Like force nothing on you.
Force anything or project or anything like that. So I always, like I said, told them why.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of times where we rebel growing up because people just told us don't do.
Yeah, of
they
course.
They didn't really say why.
Of course.
And then when you hear don't have sex, it was because kids.
Right.
But you didn't hear because of STD or because of this or because of that. So I just been real vocal with my kids as I raised them, and I raised them the same because they're only like September, October, November, December. They're only like 14, 15, 16 months apart.
Got you.
So.
Oh yes, because the oldest too. Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's good that you said that. And I feel like growing up, you know, I knew that my mom had to take care of business, so I always have been, even in my adulthood, I just do my best not to be combative with people if I don't have to be. And people like, really? Yeah, I say, yeah, I really be chilling. I say, you know, I'll talk noise. I'm going to talk noise. I mean, I'm going to do that all the time. But at the end of the day, I'm going to always do what's supposed to happen. Like, whatever should be done, because I'm big on keeping a peaceful life, making things smooth. Like, I'm not about having nothing extra going on unnecessarily if I don't have to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I be kind of confused with my kid because that beautiful daughter of mine, it's just like any little thing. And like you said, I most definitely would explain stuff to her, mm-hmm. break it down to her, and her thing is why. Well, that don't mean I'm gonna do that. Like she always has some type of, you know, always. Mm-hmm. My cousin would always tell her, "I'm gonna pay for you to go to law school because you most definitely argumentative unnecessarily. So somebody needs to pay you for this because you most definitely not let nobody make it on nothing at no time at any time." And I found myself thinking of like people in my family, like my sister, my aunt, and some of my cousins, and like, okay, so they did these kind of things, but I didn't do that. So why would my child do that, you know? And like you say, at times I feel like I never have an intention on trying to make her feel like I'm trying to make her do anything. But of course, you can see them. You can see the road they going down. I'm like, man, I just don't want you to be going through nothing you don't have to.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I get it, and I love you for caring, but we all have to learn our own way. And
I agree.
You know, and it's just kind of like, I understand that, mm-hmm. but I'm literally showing you and explaining you why this is a terrible decision. So
you're trying to prevent,
yes.
right? And she's absolutely right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but she's absolutely right. And so one thing that I think about, y'all know I'm always going to reference scripture. I'm always, that's my thing. But even the prodigal son, when the father knew he was about to go down the wrong road, he didn't force him to stay. God didn't force him to stay. He just gave him the foundation that when it was time to come back home, he knew where to come. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I think for me that has always been pivotal is that I can give you what I have at the time I have it. I can explain to you why. I'm not going to shove it down your throat, especially if you're resistant.
Right.
I can only give you what I can give you, and you do with that what you're going to do. You can't leave here and say, I didn't equip you or try to equip you. Now, what you do with that is on you. So I always I guess because I always came back with consequence. Like, you can do that, this is a consequence, right? Everything is a cause and effect, everything is an action or reaction. And I think because we've had people in our family that were prison, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was prison and all that. So it was just like, these are plain examples as to cause and effect, mm-hmm. right? And so they know, and I've always never hid anything from them that they've seen my entire life play out. Right. So, in other words, when people in my family need something, they came to me. Right. And so my oldest son does say that, like, dang, you like the youngest, but an uncle will still call you work. So, in other words, basically saying, I see that there's wisdom there. Right. So, what I say kind of holds some weight because they've seen it, you know? Yeah. But I think she's right in the aspect that, you know, a lot of us are rebellious by nature. That's nothing new, right? The only difference is the kids have the platforms to go be rebellious out loud,
Right.
right? Because the people in the Bible rebellious, right?
Yeah.
They was pushing it to the limit, but kids seem to be so much louder with it because, for one, we don't check it early. So that's my thing. I still have both of my older kids in my home. They're 20 and 21, but my son just finished HVAC school, so that's
Yeah.
partially the reason. But
No, that's right.
the disrespect was never a okay. So when you talking back or you're raising your voice, who you talking?
Who? Yes.
Who you talking to? So that standard was already there, or it was a pop. I don't have to fight you, put my hands on you so
Yeah.
much, but I guess it was like that foundation has always kind of been there, and I think because their father was in the house for so long
Yeah.
that you're not gonna buck me too much. There was one time my son bucked me, and I think he knows that was the worst mistake he could have ever made at that age of his life.
Yeah.
Because once I called my mom too, she was like, and when she gets done with you, I'm coming to get, because I love you. My mom definitely loves her. You know how grandma
Of course.
go to bat and go to war for the grandkids more than us, because we'd be like,
Yes.
where were you at?
Man.
And that was me. But one thing my mama does not play about is that. And so she was like, if you think you're gonna put your hands on my daughter, buck her in any type of way, when she gets done with you, you're gonna have to see me too.
Yeah.
So that kind of put him in his place early. And so all that we worked through those things, even through divorce, all that. Like, I've never really had my kids bucking me, disrespecting me, talking back to me. Like, you take that in the room, call me, talk to me, whatever you want, but
Yeah.
don't let me hear an ounce of that, because you can get up out of here.
That part. The way you walked in, you must definitely
Go
can walk out.
Don't worry about it. You can go right where you were.
And I mean, it's good that you said, and I feel like that's important for your kids, especially with girls, to be able to open up and talk to you about things, because I have a few friends that lost their mothers early, lost their mothers before they had kids themselves, and they're parenting their children without being able to look up or call their mom to try to get feedback, or try to get, okay, well, mom, what should I do? Or even just to vent, like you say, to say, man, this girl such and such, or this boy such and such, and have that interaction to where the grandmother can come and say, you know what, little baby, your mama right, you know,
Yeah.
or, you know, vice versa. And that's a big thing, especially like you said with the fathers being there, that's impactful. And I think because when we were together, my ex and I, Neville was, like you said, daddy's girl, all of those things. But at the end of the day, she always still kind of was like, you know, with both of us, kind of spoiled either way. And for the longest, you know, it was just her. So I didn't have my baby until she was almost 10 years old.
Okay.
So she was most definitely spoiled. And it's like not spoiled to the fact like she was bad and didn't know how to act, but she was just used to things just going away for her, not really having to worry about much consequence, because there was nothing like she did wrong necessarily. And I feel like when I did have my son, it was exciting to her at first because she was the only child for so long, but then it kind of hit her.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And as time went on, after he started like walking and talking, she was like, "Oh, you can't take him back." Like, somebody, he's still here, huh? That's what's up. So it's like, and it's learning those things and understanding that, because I was able to share some things with her, and her dad was present. She understood that it's a respect thing, like you say, when it comes to mother and father, as well as yourself. And that's one of the biggest things I feel like I did my best to do, is make sure that she was secure with herself, with Neville, understanding that, hey, whatever's going on with you, you don't let nobody disrespect you. You don't disrespect yourself by allowing nobody to disrespect you. And you just got to take care of business. And I feel like, even though, yeah, I get it, they gonna learn, they gotta make their own mistakes, but I'm gonna always say it because that's my job. I'm supposed to warn you of these things that I'm seeing, that I see clear as day that you're about to do.
I see danger.
Talk about, big dog, I'm telling you now. And so present day, she'll be like, don't say it. I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing to say. But the thing was, you told me don't say it, so you don't say it. We ain't gonna worry about it. What's done is done. I told you, the writing was on the wall. You told me it wasn't big. So now is she understands more now of the things I used to say, because I would tell her, you don't have friends. You have classmates. You have associates. These people just go to school with you.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all haven't even went through enough life to say that's your friend. Yeah. Now, granted, she had one or two girls that she's been talking to, since elementary school, back and forth. But those are people that you have. Y'all went through the different stages with each other. But these people you just be meeting this at the beginning of the school, you're talking about your friend, sharing your location with these people, ma'am. No. I don't understand this. And why does people know that we at the store? So what's happening? And it's man. And it's so many things that I had to learn and I had to work through as a parent with her, because I'm like, you know what? My mom would always say, you letting her explain too much. Why you letting her talk? I say, well, I feel like I ain't gonna never know what the girl thinking if I don't let her say what's going on. Why do you feel like that was okay for you to do that? Because, out of curiosity, what's going on with you? What's happening? Because if I did something, if I need to do something another way to reach you, I need to know that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like because I went through different mental health trainings and all of that, I would have never thought I would have to use that with my kids, But the more I'm learning, I feel like I'm talking to them more in that lane than anything else, because I have to understand them. They with me day to day. They with me year to year. Yeah. I need to know what makes them upset, what makes them happy, what makes them, And even though I'm not going to be walking on eggshells around them because I'm the parent, that's right. But I am going to show them respect, just like, because everybody has to be respectful. I don't care what nobody say. Yeah, that's your kid. Yeah, they need to listen to you. But we should listen to them. We should hear them out. Mm-hmm. Not saying we doing what they say, but at least see their point of view. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you, big baby. You still on punishment, but I get what you're saying, and that makes sense. So, like you said, the consequence. So you understand, you was upset, you was mad, but you also know you couldn't do this. This wasn't the right thing for you to do, for you to react. You reacted versus working through it and processing it and coming to me and talking to me about it. You just started reacting and just went off the handle. That's not what we're doing. Yeah. So...
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong with that at all. I just said what she said, like you have to learn, they do. And if you're so prideful to think, just leave it alone, let me learn, okay. Very much so. And I think to the point of what you were saying is about your mom saying not to, like, you're letting her talk too much. Sometimes, no shade to any elders, but sometimes they feel like the way they parented was the best, and history has shown that that's not
right.
Accurate, right?
Yes.
But like I've explained to mine, and they understand, I can only give you what I have at the time I have it. The same way that your parents could only give you what they had. But we have to strive to be better and to, like you said, give them a voice to be able to talk. Because if not, when they get older, that's where all of this, I can't speak up, or
come on,
because they always tell me to be quiet, or somebody always tell me to shut up. No, you definitely should hear your kids out. But my thing in that is that the respect has to be there. Like, the kid has to know you can voice your opinion, you can say whatever you want. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you're going to keep respect, because at the end of the day, you're going to honor me. If you're in my house, you're going to honor me, period. The same way I'm going to respect you, but you're going to honor my household.
Yeah.
Period.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I feel like they say, man, it ain't no book for this. And so...
It is, actually.
I was literally about to say that it's a book called the Bible that we sometimes ignore, or we try to make things fit to what we want to. I was having a talk with somebody earlier today. I say we have a bad habit, and I say we because we all do it, of picking and choosing what scripture we're going to apply to what. And it's like, big dog, if you read them verses ahead of that, it's about 2 or 3 verses ahead of that, big baby, this go, right. And it's always, I would tease her, like I told you earlier, I told my baby, I said, all right, you ain't listening, your day's going to be short. And they be like, Quit saying that. Say, man, look,
Just trying
under
to
their
tell
mother and
you.
their father, this is what it say. I say, of course, we're not supposed to provoke you, but I ain't trying to provoke you. You just need to listen and do what I'm asking you because I've been asked you.
Yeah.
I have a thing with the kids. They have chores. You know, everybody got chores. You do what you need to do before you do what you want to do. That's always been my rule. I've been telling them that since they first learned how to talk. We can't just be going out here doing all the stuff we want to and we ain't took care of no business. Business got to be taken care of at all times.
It's the order.
It's
Decent order.
It's an order. And the moment you don't do that, like if you don't do that early on, as you get into adulthood, your life is going to be rough unnecessarily because you don't understand the importance of taking care of business. You don't understand the importance of respecting yourself enough to value your time, to value the hard work that you put in, and just throwing it all away because you want to have fun one day. It's like, and I feel like in ways, maybe I push some things a little bit too much because now the child thinks she's supposed to work all the time. And I say, well, I get what you're saying, but you're not in a position when you have to do this. I said, I did those things because I had to, because I was the breadwinner. I'm the one to pay all the bills. So yeah, I gotta work job after job after job to make sure things are taken care of. I say, but I take care of you. So you working all these hours is unnecessary. You supposed to just be focused on going to school, and this supposed to just be a little money. You know, keep some change in your pocket to get the little stuff that you want. Cause I'm doing essentials.
Yeah.
So it's essentials up here, big baby. And so I feel like pushing them to work is probably one of the best things you can do. Of course, show them discipline, show them accountability, all of those things, but also help them understand that you're not supposed to just be sitting there working your life away.
Yeah.
Because you only get one life to live. So
yeah, there's definitely a balance. We don't want to raise lazy children either.
Right.
So, you know, we ain't supposed to be sluggards.
That
So
for sure. No sluggards.
no, sluggards. The Bible says.
That's what it's saying.
But the Bible says.
The word.
The word.
Okay, KERB, we're going to take a little break. We're going to play you a little music. Shout out to Daenerys. We're going to play this On the Way for my boy, H-Town. Okay. YouTube, thank y'all for tapping in. As always, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for typing in with me and Jess Marie. Jess Marie, tell them where they can find you, where they can follow you.
I am on all platforms at Jess Marie. That's me. Jess Marie. That's me. I know sometimes I talk a little fast.
Girl, they always tell me that. I was, especially I was looking at when we do the captions on there, and I'm like, girl, what was you saying? Look, I'm telling myself things. That's why they don't know what you said. I don't know what you said. What's going on?
The caption can't even catch.
Right.
So yes, all my social media platforms are Jess, Jess Marie. That's me. And that's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the things.
Man, it's so I know we doing the music break on here, but I'm always like just blown away with seeing people transition to one thing to the next. And I watched you do that. So how did you, and I know we most definitely off the daughter right now, but I just had to really took that in and thought about that. You went from radio, from running the business, how you was running radio, then still working, taking care of business, still being a wife, still like, how was all of that? And parenting generally?
Chaos. Chaos, because when I was doing it, I wasn't walking with the Lord. I was doing everything in my own strength, and I was doing everything that I desired to do.
Yeah.
And so when I actually started walking with Christ, it took me a little bit to get structured, because when I made that choice is actually right after that is when I started going through divorce. So I was like, well, maybe this Bible stuff doesn't work. I don't know. Because I've been doing it in my own strength all this time, and then this is what's happening. And actually now I see in hindsight that we were talking about this yesterday, just that as we're growing, the Lord is doing refining and purifying in us. The Lord is doing refining and purifying in us to make us capable and the people that we need to be to go wherever it is that He takes us. So now going through all those different seasons, those were all the things I wanted to do. Like you said, work, work, work.
Yeah.
We can work a lot, but when you realize something, when you're just working with really no goal other than making money, as fast as the money is coming in, it's going out.
It's going out. Yeah.
So when I started backing up from doing that and really started asking God, what is it that you want me to do? That's actually when he started stripping away so many things, because we get so busy with a lot of good things. We get busy, 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 and not being really productive,
Right.
or not doing anything but glorifying ourselves. Look at me. I grind, I hustle, I do this and that, but I'm tired like a dog. I can't tend to my husband, tend to my kids like I
Right.
need to, all the things. So the transition for me has been, I'll say a roller coaster, but it's actually been so peaceful, because it's literally like when you surrender your life to God, it's like, have your way, whatever your will, because it's gonna be done anyway.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in agreement with it, or I'm like literally drugged, because when you're called to something higher, the Lord is gonna He's gonna make sure you get to where you're supposed to be. That's for sure.
I love this. I thank you for sharing that though. So I know she probably this girl always. Man, so KRB, we were just talking about Jess Marie's journey, how she transitioned from her different walks with the radio business, wise being a woman, a wife, a mother, and entrepreneur. And she was sharing how she transitioned this way with the help of God and Him strengthening her through that. So thank you, Jess, for sharing it with us. And so these little girls. Y'all, so anybody that really know me know I have never been big on like having like a lot of kids around me, like babysitting kids, like the whole nine. So I was telling man, I'm not having no kids. Who got the time? Not me. And so when I had that beautiful princess, my little Tinkerbell, I was just kind of like, well, I guess I am having some kids. And it's just, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure I do this for her. I do that for her. I want to show up for her in all of these ways. And I had all these plans, y'all. She was, I think, well, she liked to dance, so she gonna be a ballerina, like da 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 da. And so, and then next week she don't want to dance no more. And then it's like, I was like, okay. Then she playing the violin. Then she want to play the violin no more. And I'm just like, child, make up your mind. What we doing? What we not doing? And so, even now, she's finished high school. Thank God we got through that, and she's currently in trade school and working and getting things done. And I'm constantly kind of just doing my best, like you say, to let her move through things the way she see fit, or the way she feel like it's gonna work best for her. And I'm still like just praying so hard, like God, just let the girl listen to some of the stuff I said, because I just don't want her to struggle, because especially being a black woman, just like being a black man, these things are not the easiest thing to do, because people already have a stigma of what we are, who we are, how we do things, how they assume we're gonna do something. And I'm just telling her, yeah, you may think everybody like me, you may think I ain't having a lot of problems, but if that was the case, so many things would not have happened that you saw, that you were a part of. And I'm constantly telling her, you just have to do your very best. I said, I never wanted you to be like me. You can't be like me. I'm the only Justin Michelle Bowser. I'm the only one. You're Neville Leanne, Mays. That's you. So you have to do what's best for you. And I understand it. I'm not mad at you. I get it. Everything that I feel like you should do, you may not want to. And I'm not here to say you wrong, or I'm just right. But what I am going to say is, if I can tell you doing some things that's not going to benefit you, or going to make what you're doing a harder process, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it every time. And it be feeling like I'm a broken record at times. I ain't gonna lie, because she'll be like, and I'll probably completely just, and then out of nowhere, well, why you said such, 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 such. And then, at this point, I'm going to say it again, because you just asked me. Yeah. Well, I ain't expect you to go through all that again, so why did you ask me? Because, I'm going to say it every time. I'm going to say what I got to say. And, so it's just a little, it ain't even about, like, an argument or we can't see eye to eye, because I don't believe in that. That's your child. It ain't about you seeing eye to eye. It's about two people, because at this point, that's a person, I'm a person, come to understand it and being able to communicate things out. And that's one thing that I have tried to provide, a safe space to have real conversations. And I feel like for me, that has been the best process. That was the start of us having a better relationship. Me just letting her know, even after we may have a conversation that probably went left, either I got a little irritated or she got irritated. I'm like, hey man, all of this over with. You was mad, I was bothered, I felt how I felt, you feel how you feel. But at the end of the day, what is the real issue? What is going on? Like I said earlier, why are you mad? you know, and I feel like the older she has gotten, it has been easier to have that conversation. Because I know it's so many things that I have to improve on, but in order for them to understand that changes can take place, they have to see that I'm able to change in a positive way, just like the expectation I have for them is to make things better. I got to show them that I know how to make things better myself. So,
Yeah. I think once, what I was saying a minute ago, once we realize that we really don't have the control that we think that we have,
that,
and we start to release it, not because we have dysfunction in our house and we don't know how to handle it. What I'm saying is, when I started walking with God and I had to continue to raise my children even after divorce, when I started saying, God, I can't do this without you,
right,
that's where I've seen the most, like, not only just change, but productivity in my household.
right.
Because I think that the way we approach conversations with the children matter as well as they grow.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll say this. When I went to therapy after divorce and after another situation that didn't work out, my therapist explained to me, when you're raising children, think about raising children like you're tending to a garden. Everything in that garden needs to be tended to differently. You have a plant that needs water, needs sun, but a cactus doesn't need any water, right?
Yes.
You have plants that need to be indoors, some that need to be outdoors. So when you're tending to your children, not saying you're conforming, but you're tending to them differently because you know that they're built different.
Yeah.
And so when he broke it down to me like that, I never really had behavioral issues with my kids. So I'll start off saying that. But like I said, a lot of times my daughter would be in her room. She never wanted to come out. She never really wanted to hang out with the family. And my ex-husband used to just say, just leave her alone. But as you realize, like, hey, she could really be going through something. She could be, going through depression. She could, all the things, but you're thinking, that's just how she is. She's just in her room.
Yeah.
So what I realized is that after divorce, when she was beginning to come out, she was going through those things. But we never checked because we always assumed that's how she was.
Right.
So now when you see her, she's more bubbly. She's more outgoing. She still has times of the month where she's just like, I just want to be to myself. But it's not like it used to be. And so I think that foundational, like I said earlier, we can only give them what we have at the time, right? But as we progress and as we get wiser and as we begin to walk with the Lord, anything that was embedded in them that was not good,
right,
you have to go to God and start saying, hey, I don't think that I did this right. I don't think I did that right. Help me to have mercy and grace on myself, right? But I need you to help me to fix that. And if I need to get out the way for you to do it, let me do that and let me take my hands off of it. But see, as women and as mothers, we tend to want to hold on and have the control. And it shows up in marriage. It shows up in how we parent our kids. And when we don't really trust that God has it or that he's going to give us the wisdom to do it, then we keep doing it in our own strength, and look at what we keep getting. Rebellious kids doing what they want, kids being disrespectful. Like, all of those things are a standard for me. And so I don't care if you're 21, 22, 25, you're not going to cuss in my house. You definitely are not cussing at me. No boys or girls coming out of my house, whether you're grown or not. Those are just standards.
Yeah.
But when we don't have those standards and we're like, oh, well, they're grown. well, then all the things start piling up, and before you know it, you're like, this kid is completely outrageous. But what happened?
Yeah.
There were steps to that. There were levels to that. So once they get there, it's kind of hard to reel them back in. So I don't know. I'm just grateful that even though it took me so long to find God, I started to seek God and really go in wholeheartedly while they were still teens.
Yeah.
And a lot of some of like negative things that began to come up, we were able to grab that early. And like I said, just surrendering to God, saying, hey, we've been this way for so long. I've been this way for so long. However, you have the ability to do anything. So it's on you now. You got it. Like,
No, but you're a kid. You're a kid.
And like I said before, at the end of the day, when we realize that every single person in our life, we don't own them.
Yeah.
We don't own a husband. We don't own a wife. We don't own kids. We're only called to steward that relationship. Everybody belongs to God, right? So He just entrusted us to steward that relationship properly.
Thanks.
And when we realize that, we know it's a heavy load. It is a heavy burden. But when we don't know how to do it, then we have to go to the one who even said, you're going to do it.
Right.
Instead of trying to do it in our own strength. Because if not, we look like our parents that were toxic and you do what I say and you don't get to say anything.
Because I said so.
Because I said so. All the things. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
It's funny you said that. That's actually a movie. That's one of my favorite movies. It's called Because I Said So, and it's one of the main characters. It's like on Netflix. It's like it's really a good movie. It's Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore, the singer, she was in there. It's a pretty good movie. It's a really good lineup of actresses and actors in there, honestly. But if y'all ever want to just sit down and watch a good movie, that's a good movie, especially to watch with your daughter. It's kind of one of those things.
It's called Because
I Said So. She's an older mom. She has 3 girls, and they're all grown. So of course they grown in this movie, but it just shows how everything they went through growing up. She just was like, you do it because I said so. Like, I said it, so you need to do it. And she was always kind of like in their relationships, trying to get them to have a husband, trying to get them, and it was nice things. It was positive things. She was very needy, kind of needy, clingy. It wasn't necessarily a manipulative thing. She just really wanted to see them happy.
Okay.
And taken care of, because she feel like since she didn't have her ex-husband, their dad, they didn't make it. She don't want them to be alone like she was alone. And so, girl, the whole thing. So in the movie, the youngest one, which was the actress that I'm talking about, Mandy Moore, she ended up having issues. Every time she got a boyfriend, it didn't work out for one reason or the other. And so, girl, the mama ended up putting her on a dating app, but didn't tell her she was on a dating app. So what she did was she was like interviewing the guys for her daughter. And so it's really funny, I ain't gonna lie. So by the end of it, she ended up talking to 2 different guys, trying to figure out like which one she liked, not knowing. One of them was actually somebody that her mama picked for her, and the other one, he was just there observing what her mama was doing and took it upon himself to go introduce himself to her. But in the end of it, she ended up feeling like her mom put both of them up to it, but one of them didn't. It was never like that. He just heard about her and he went and met her for himself. And so it was a good movie though. But in the end, the mama ended up getting married, child, it was the whole thing. So it's just seeing stuff like that. It was a cute little movie, but that's for real. You just want to see your kids have the best life possible. That's you feel like, let me show them these good things. Let me help them with these things. But of course, like we say, it's not all rainbows and cupcakes or whatever the case. Stuff is gonna happen that you don't like, that they don't like. We're not gonna understand why this is happening, even though we feel like we give them all the tools. We give them the best examples. We're as open as we can be, helping them understand things, hoping our best not to create toxicity in that relationship, or not to want them to end up being toxic because of things that, like you said, unknowing to us, we didn't do the right thing in this way, in that way, in our own ignorance, just not understanding that we were messing up in that area, because all we can do is what we want to do, like you said. So
Good stuff.
it's just, man. life. And I'll be laughing because somebody said what I told me, man, life be life. And I say, yes, it do. But we still got stuff to do every day.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day gonna end. And we still got to answer for all of it. So,
Yeah.
like, I just be like, man, this is crazy. And someone told me before, like, if I would I ever want to have another kid, and if I did I want a girl or boy? And I'm like, I mean, I ain't gonna even hold you. I think if I would have had a boy first, I probably wouldn't have had no more kids for real because he is very easy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's some stuff is kind of like, oh boys, but then all the other stuff with the little girl with the little attitudes and all that, baby, I'm good on that. I ain't got never had that experience ever again in life.
See,
I do not
I
have
don't
to.
have that from my daughter, so I don't think. I mean, I don't want any more kids. Let's be clear about that. We're gonna.
Baby, Vel been sassy since she came out, baby.
No,
Sassy.
definitely not. But
And I feel like more so it's her being outspoken. Like she just have that kind of like persona. Like that's
yeah,
her.
I think
And
that's fine. I just think that they have to remember the respect piece.
Oh yeah.
You know,
For sure.
Because I pop me a kid quick right in the
Girl.
mouth. Listen, the Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the
Spoil the
child."
child.
No.
Most definitely. Talk about laying hands.
Okay.
Laying hands is a thing.
In Jesus' name.
Hallelujah. Talk about on that note.
Yeah.
We're gonna play this misunderstanding by LP shirt. Talk about childish.
Ain't never be serious.
For what? For what reason? Grow up why?
Not today.
TikTok, what's going on, baby? I'm so excited to see y'all tapping in. I know that the last few weeks I hadn't been doing my radio show on here, so I've been busy taking care of things, making myself a little bit better for you guys so I can make sure I have something to share and it's productive and it's something that's going to help you along your journey as I go on my journey. So I appreciate y'all for always tagging along with your girl because I just be talking. So, YouTube, y'all already know. I'm on this thing. We riding till the wheels fall off. Day in and day out. Let's go. We are, I just can't, I was just telling Jess at the beginning of this, y'all, this is episode 52 for me, being on the radio. And once again, I just feel blessed. I'm full of gratitude all the time because nobody have to trust you, period, to do anything. Let's start there. And for this to be something that these people been having their radio station all these years, they've been worldwide. People on here from everywhere have a show on here. And it's like for them to see what I have been doing, and I didn't feel like I was doing that much, y'all, honestly. But for it to catch their attention and them to trust me on this platform, I just really feel blessed. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And I'm really happy that I'm able to help people along the way. And sometimes, y'all, I don't always even remember every single time, every detail of what I say. And somebody be like, oh, Jessica, when you said such and such the other day, I needed that. And I'm kind of like, I'm just here to help, girl. All the time, I really don't know what I said or how I said it or when I said it. But I mean what I say all the time because I say things from the heart. I pray about everything I'm doing, y'all. And I just be wanting everything to be beneficial to whoever hears it. Whoever hears, whoever see it, I want to be able to help somebody along the way. I really mean that. And I'm grateful for the people that's in my circle, like my girl Jess, because they help me, like I say, stay accountable and stay of course. It was one weekend that I wasn't going to do the show because I just feel like there was so much happening that one weekend. And one of my girlfriends was like, well, why wouldn't you do it? You done did it when you were sick and everything. And so what's your real reason for not doing it this weekend? And I'm like, well, it just seems like I had a lot on my plate. She said, you always have a lot on your plate. So it's like having those kind of people to see your vision, even when you get a little weary, a little tired through the process and on the journey. And I just feel like that's important to me to be able to say I have real friends, I have family, because anybody that I say is my friend, I'm most definitely looking at them as more like a family member than a friend, because I don't believe that God puts people in your life on accident. You know, this is a real reason that they're here, and you need to appreciate them and love on them. Like I say, love on them because they're gonna love on you, and vice versa. And if anything is happening outside of that, then you know it's not an equally yoked thing. That's not just about a marriage or a girlfriend boyfriend. That's anybody that you coming in contact with. And the older I'm getting, the more that is becoming so real, and more understanding that I'm getting with everything that I'm doing and how I'm doing things. So thank y'all for sure. Thank y'all for all that y'all do, and continue to be along the ride with your girl. As I'm just talking all the time. Just so if you can tell the people a bit of advice for their beautiful daughters, nieces, granddaughters, what would you say?
Well, like I said earlier, my daughter is 20. And so we didn't always have the best relationship initially. But as I started walking with God, I always go to God, I petition God on behalf of my kids. So, yes, the Bible says that the kids should honor their parents, right? But I always ask the Lord to help them have eyes to see and ears to hear, to first know that they should be honoring Him.
Yes.
And when I began to do that, my daughter is 20 now, and she's on her third time going through the Bible.
Oh,
At 20, I had 2 kids already. So, what I was going to say earlier, we were talking about, giving the kids what we have at that time. All we can do is plant the seeds. Like, all we can do is plant the seed in the kid. We can't make them do what we want them to do. We just have to trust that what we're planting will, be sustained in them. Like, it will grow. The Bible says we plant the seed and the Lord brings the increase in their life. So even if they choose the wrong path and they choose the wrong things, at the end of the day, you've equipped them, and
yes,
you let them know that the door is always open for you to be here. So, like when your daughter said, you have to let me do whatever and figure it out on how you do. You're absolutely right. And I'll always be here for you, right? But I don't condone or
that.
back foolery. So go do whatever it is that you want to do. And I'll be here when you got your mind right, like the prodigal son that was out there eating pig slop,
Girl.
and came on back home. But I would just say parenting for me now has been so much better with God than trying to do it on my own.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
Now, why you ain't need that
I
phone?
know. Girl.
I would say, like I said, just wrapping it up, parenting for me has been better with God than trying to do it in my own strength. Because when I don't know, or they trying to book, I always go to God and say, now these are your kids, and unless it's time for them to meet you quicker than you say,
Right.
go ahead and get them. And the Lord works it out. So I just start releasing control. I do what I'm supposed to do as a parent, raise up a child in the way that you want them to go, as the Bible says,
Right.
plant the seeds and let the Lord do His work. Baby, I live a peaceful life. Nobody's gonna stress me out. Not a man, not a kid, not a job.
I'm about to say not a job.
No.
Sure, not no job.
I was just saying yesterday, like, we have to understand we carry so much weight when we're trying to control every aspect of our
Yes.
life. Women, we're losing hair. We're all the things. You're like, hold on, wait. I had a full head of hair. My edges are snatching. All the
Right.
things, right? Why? Because these
Talking
kids.
about weight up and down.
Weight up and down. No. See, we don't live that toxic life anymore. The Lord has delivered us. We don't live that anymore.
I've been delivered.
So, yes, indeed. Praise God. So, yeah, the kids not gonna stress me. The man ain't gonna listen. No, indeed.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not in this life or the next.
Not or the next one. And I'm pretty sure, knowing myself, it wasn't in the last one either. So one thing we not gonna do is live this stress life. We ain't got time. We ain't got the energy.
No, I'll be 40 this year, and I don't need a
Come
whole
on,
bunch of,
come on, 40.
I don't need a whole
Come
bunch
on,
of
40.
wrinkles. You hear me? We're not gonna wear me long.
Can't. It ain't.
I've done my part. I've taken you to 21. I've let you, do your thing, finish school, go to what is it, trade school.
Mm-hmm.
I let you try college, and that's one thing I was going to say earlier too, when you said Nevaeh likes to try different things, and I know she was probably young. One thing I can say I'm very, very grateful for is that I didn't get to try different things until I was an adult because I wasn't raised by my parents, so I was figuring life out on my own. But as an adult, how much harder is it for you to have a kid and then try school and then you finish that school or you quit that school, then you go to another thing, or you're going from job to job to job. And when you said earlier, like you went from radio to this to this to this. By the grace of God, I've been able to experience real estate. I've been able to experience cosmetology. I've done radio. I've done all the things, and it's kind of like the Lord let me get it out of my system.
Come on.
So that I don't
have
to be 70 and say, I really wish that I would have tried this or tried that. So I'm grateful for that. But I'm also grateful to be at a point to where I can allow my kids to do that while they're in my home.
Yes.
And that's what I tell them. If you have no kids, you're not married, stay here and do whatever you think you want to do. That way, when something clicks for you, you can start a foundation with your life, with money, with stability, all the things with God, first of all, stability and all the things that you can maintain, sustain, and keep everything that the Lord gives you. It won't be something that's fleeting from you versus doing life how we did, and we went out and had kids young because we didn't have the guidance. Having kids young, being in a relationship as a teen, relationship was the number one thing on your mind. Why on earth?
For what reason?
For what reason was it? But it's all lack, it's all trauma, it's all the things. But once you realize that a good parent has their kid to be raised up different, even if it doesn't always look good, like if it doesn't always feel good, we as mothers are always like, I'm lacking right here. I didn't give them this and this and this. And I sit back and I'm like, no, I gave you everything that I never had.
Trying to tell you.
And I gave you the word of God. I gave you a strong foundation. So no matter what you do from here on out, I did my part. I allowed you to try all these different things. Now, whether you succeeded or went through with it was on you. I can only give you the tools. So you can't be one of these kids out here saying, nobody ever supported me. My mama did this. My mama put me out at 18. You're a lie.
Right.
You're a lie. You're lying.
Lying on my name.
You're lying on my name.
What you always say? A lie don't care who tells it.
A lie don't care who tells it. But you're not going to tell it on me. And I don't care what you say to social media or to whoever you say. The Lord knows that I did what I was supposed to do. So that's why I said I'm at peace, jokingly, but not jokingly. I'm at peace everywhere, because even when I was wrong, I came back to right my wrongs in every situation when it comes to my kids, because I've been called to steward them. He entrusted me with these kids. So I did my part. After that, what you do is on you. And as you can see, the prodigal son, he did what he thought he wanted to do. And when he got out there and he did what he wanted to do and he figured out this is not it.
Boy said the streets is not for him.
The streets weren't for him. And the dad didn't go finding him. He was there waiting on him, but that's all that we're supposed to do. So like you said earlier, we like to joke and say, there's not a book to this. There is not a book to life. There absolutely is. We just don't want to follow it. You know why? Because it makes us see the nasty in us. But at the end of the day, if that is the case, the good thing about that is that you know that the Lord has called you. Like the Lord is really working on you, and you're one of His. Because if you weren't so like mad about it, or you didn't feel a way about it, and so convicted, that's where it's scary.
No, seriously. If you have no regard for any of it, that's and I feel like at times, I'm not saying that all kids are like this, but when me working in education, when me being a police officer, when me going through all the different careers I had, that they all kind of lined up with helping kids, doing things with kids, seeing all of that, you see so many children that don't have, what we're trying to provide to them, don't have a safe space where they can talk to their parents, or like you said, or don't have their parents, or they're with their grandparents, and it's kind of like
they take it for granted.
And I said something to the vet one day, and she got a little mad at me, and I was fine with it. I said, what you don't understand is I literally go over and beyond and out of my way to ensure that we have a positive and productive interaction with each other. I say I've learned different things, I've done different studies, I've read different books, everything to, parent you better. You know, we went to church. I had you in all these things. You know, you was in the choir, like all of this stuff. You was praise dancing. Like I'm doing all I can to give you a stable and balanced life, and you just continue to want to do what you want to. And I'm not mad at you. All I can do is do my best. And so, and I appreciate you. So, Jess, we did it. We did the power for the hour for power, power for hour. We was just talking. KRB, thank you for your time as always. It's Jess and Jess Talks. And this was episode 52, Persevering, Parenting a Daughter, with our special guest, the beautiful Jess Marie. Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome, baby.
All right, so I'll see y'all when I see y'all, well, next Saturday. Be blessed and have a good one. All right, YouTube. I love y'all. Peace out. Thank you for always tapping in and following along with your girl as we just talk on this journey. Bye, y'all.